Basically, I was living in a bachelor pad with my brother and a good friend, Matt D'Alessandro. Hey, Matt, if you'll be there. And yeah, I was working at Tsubaki. It was my first real job, just out of college.
I was a couple years out of having gone through my broken road, my experience of what was supposed to be a marriage and never turned into a marriage. It's one of the greatest mysteries and heartbreaks that I'll ever go through, but also one of the most beautiful broken roads that I could have ever imagined. Because of some of the things I've been through, I know pain, and I know just heartache, and I know the challenges of life knocking you down and just determining yourself through Christ to get back up. I know those things, and that's where I was at when I met Caleb.
I was in Rufus Tree, so I was playing music, doing gigs on the weekend, and cubicle by day, rock star by night, at least in my own mind. And I was I had these plans that I was going to be moving to Georgia soon, kind of a new start sort of thing, just kind of change of environment, and it was exciting. It seemed exciting. A
couple days before we met, I'd been on a road trip to Tennessee, and I was actually kind of at a place where I was like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of being the girl that life knocks her down and she gets back up. Maybe I'm tired of being strong for everyone else. When this trip is over, I'm going to I'm just gonna just not be as strong. I'm still gonna keep loving God. I'm still gonna keep challenging people, but I'm just gonna give up a little bit. You know, the trip was good, and by the time I was driving home, instead I just kind of went, okay, God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna trust that even though my heart is longing for the relationship that you have for me, I'm gonna trust that instead of giving up and pretending like it's not what I want, that's fine, I don't want to get married. Instead, I'm going to go, you know what, I'm going to believe in faith that God does have a plan for my life, that He is faithful, and He is going to bring about His beautiful will.
During this point in my life, gone through a recent, very difficult time. It was, I'd actually gone through a divorce, as most people who know me know pretty well. And I was at that point where it had been a few years, kind of starting a new life, and that's kind of why Georgia sounded nice to me, you know. Kind of a new beginning, a chance to get out and see what the world has to offer again. And because in the aftermath of those kind of things, you know, when you feel like you've been broken and in a way that you never knew you could be broken, you lose some of your idealism, and you lose some of your faith a little bit. And I was kind of at that point where I was learning how to believe again.
I went to this retreat that my church was having at this campgrounds in Lake Geneva. And you know, I got there, I was only there for one day, and I see this boy jump down from a tree, and I'm like, oh, he's cute. Never seen him before. So that was the first time I saw Caleb. Didn't know who he was, or I thought maybe a friend brought him or something like that. And then later on in the day, I found out that he was part of the band that they brought up to do. It was a Christian rock band from Illinois that they brought up this band called Rufus Tree to do some of their stuff.
I was working in an office by day and a rock star at night, you know, playing to the masses. I happened to be going to this camp. It was up in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and so getting our gear set up, we're playing, we get our show going, and it's just happening. It's hopping. I mean, people are, you know, moshing. People are just going crazy and berserk. You know, Rufus Tree, we love you. All that stuff. You get used to it. And so at one point, I see this girl in the back, just this crazed, starry-eyed dreamer of a girl just going crazy, you know, working her way towards us. And I'm on stage, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I know how this unfolds. You know, girl sees band, girl falls in love, girl wants to talk to band. Sometimes it just you know, it's kind of awkward. You got to be a little standoffish.
During the time when they're all, you know, singing and doing their music, I was just in the back talking, and I didn't even know that my future husband is like right in front of me. I'm looking at somebody's pictures from Africa.
Here she comes. I see her coming, and she breaks through the security tape, just trying to get us.
I just go towards the front. I'm just totally focused, you know, like just raising my hands, praising God. My future husband is right in front of me, and I'm just living life.
The bouncer, this big guy, Bruno, had to tackle her. And they were about to haul her off, and I said, no, wait, she's with us. And so she got to ride in the limo with us, and I talked to her for a little bit, and it was good.
And then Caleb and I actually ended up officially meeting later down by the bonfire. He came up and just struck up some conversation. And I don't know, we just kind of hit it off and found out that we liked a lot of the same things. And I don't know, we talked about going hiking at Devil's Lake sometime, and he had kind of thrown it out there that maybe a group of us could go hiking before winter came. And by the end of the night, he was like, well, maybe you and I could just go hiking. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, here's a guy like putting himself out there a little bit, okay. And so then we did. We ended up going hiking the next week in Devil's Lake, and that's kind of where things, you know, went forward from there.
The first time Karen and I hung out together, it was a week after we met at the camp. We decided to go to Devil's Lake, which is a common interest of ours. And so we met there early on a Saturday morning, I believe, and we just started walking around the lake. And it's a beautiful place with a lot of cliffs. So I thought it would be a nice, fun, first-time thing to take her up climbing along the sides of these cliffs. And
which I think he thought that I wasn't going to be able to hold my own, but I totally could. And so we started off, it's actually like a rock wall. Basically, it's just one boulder after the next, and you start jumping from one to the next till you get to a point where you're actually climbing and kind of scaling on a wall. And as we're going up further, he's a couple body lengths ahead of me.
And I was clearing this, there was a section up top, I saw that there was a branch in the way. And so, yeah, I'm a few body lengths ahead of her, and so I decided to move the branch. What I didn't know is that it was the only thing holding a giant boulder in place.
So I see him doing this to move the branch, and all of a sudden I see this rock literally coming towards me, and there was nothing I could do because I was holding on to the side. So I just braced for impact, and I just kind of went like this, and it ended up just completely smashing my leg.
How long did the bruise last?
Oh, this was like the mother of all bruises. It was there probably for a couple of weeks. I had a limp, I couldn't hide, so everyone, you know, usually when I like someone or am interested in someone, I kind of keep it quiet for a while, and after this little event, I was limping, so everyone's like, well, you know, what were you doing? Where were you?
And it was funny, because I thought after that she'd probably never want to talk to me again, but actually it was more of an icebreaker than a deal breaker. The people at work were like, Caleb, what are you doing? You meet this girl and you take her out and you almost kill her. You're never going to see her again. And
I think it was his ploy to first try to kill me and then to rescue me, you know, be the hero.
That's it. That's it.
It worked.
Works every time. Karen and I, needless to say, became friends after the Devil's Lake incident. She still kept talking to me. Shortly into our friendship, I took off. I had to leave. I had to go to Georgia because I had plans to go to school there. We still kept in touch a little bit by email, Facebook, and whatnot, and you know, but we didn't know that our friendship would really go anywhere. We weren't sure. You know, of course, I had my hopes. I chased my lofty dreams all the way back home to Illinois, and just started putting my heart out there. Just started letting her know.
Well, at one point I get flowers in the mail, and my thought was, oh, you know, that was really nice, but I think we're definitely on different pages right now. And I thought it was so sweet, and I kind of put my heart out there then and said that I didn't really think that it was going to be headed anywhere. He was in Georgia at the time, and I don't know, just maybe some different dreams, but he really did, like you said, he kind of came back from Georgia with a vengeance to just put his heart out on the line, and It turned out to be really what I needed.
She introduced me for the first time as her boyfriend at a 4th of July summer party, and I just went with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm her boyfriend.
Well, we kind of had already kind of had that transitional talk, but we just never put the label on it. And I was introducing him, and it just kind of came up.
I took Karen back to Georgia. It was an annual trip that we started doing where we go and visit my relatives in the South. It's kind of a significant place. It's where I lived, and I fooled her into thinking it was just another annual trip, but I had a ring in my pocket, I had a letter I had written, and a bottle with some significance, which Karen will tell you about. I even asked her if one of my buddies could come along. I didn't really want him to, but, you know.
Which, when he told me that he had asked a friend to come along on the trip and he was waiting to see if he was going to come, I mean, I completely fell for it. And I did. I was like, okay, if he's asking a friend to come on the trip, he's definitely not proposing this weekend. And then he did. Because I thought he was going to propose at Devil's Lake, he kept saying things like, oh, you know, let's go to Devil's Lake next weekend. So he had me. I thought he was going to do it the next weekend. But when we got to Georgia, we went to go hike a waterfall that we had done the exact same thing the year prior. You can take stairs to the top of the waterfall, and we get there, we look up, and we both were just like, let's just stay towards the bottom of the waterfall. And yeah, so we just kind of went
Started reading her a letter.
Yeah, started reading me a letter. We went to the middle of the waterfall, and he takes down his backpack and he starts reading me this letter. And as he goes on reading the letter, he gets to one point where he says something to the effect of, I don't know if I've surprised you today. And then I knew, I was like, oh, this is the proposal. And I kind of start to cry. He kind of starts to cry.
I don't cry.
Cried.
I'm macho.
And he started to he was just really putting his heart out there in the letter. And this is why I thought he was going to propose at Devil's Lake, because a couple years ago, we wrote letters to one another and put them in this bottle and hid it there. So I just always thought that he was going to take me back there someday and maybe read me a proposal. I wasn't sure, but I did tell my sister that, and like a good sister, she kind of told him that I was thinking he might do that there. So that's why he, threw me off.
Yeah, I'm a typical guy. I don't think I realize how intuitive the female mind can be. So.
And I did want to be surprised.
I was glad to have some help from her sister.
Thanks, Kat. And so as the proposal continued, he led me to just a beautiful path to the side of the waterfall, where he had said, to go ahead and to close my eyes and to take his hand and to see if, just to see if I trusted him, where his hand would lead me and guide me. And then he just said, okay, and I actually want to ask you a question that technically I asked you a couple years prior. He actually went back to Devil's Lake, got the bottle out of the rocks, brought it there, and then began to read the proposal that he had written a couple years prior.
So I don't know what I would have done with that letter if she'd have said no, but
I said yes.
I guess it would have been an interesting souvenir I'd have left in the rocks at Devil's Lake, but.
I'm blessed. I am blessed by Caleb's heart. I am blessed by just who he is and who he is to me. And if you would have asked me I'm crying. If you'd asked me several years, back, if I would have ever thought that I would know a love like this, I know that I would, in my mind, I would have answered yes, because I knew deep down that God was going to bring beauty, from ashes. But even though you know it here, until it happens here, you don't really know the fullness of it. And because of Caleb, I know the fullness of love. I know the fullness of just what it is to truly have a best friend that you get to walk through life with, and just to be a part of life unfolding. And I couldn't have picked someone better to be by my side. We're different. We're really different. But somehow God knew that we had enough similarities, and just somehow our differences just mesh. And they just create this friendship chemistry that I'm just so grateful for, and grateful that I get to be the lucky one. I get to be the blessed one to receive who Caleb is. Just his quirks, his strengths, his weaknesses, the things that make him laugh, the things that make me laugh, or I should say how he makes me laugh. I'm just blessed to be the one that gets to receive Caleb in his fullness.
Yeah, this is something I just wanted to say, a little something extra. I wanted to say that, you know, just kind of put into words what Karen means to me. You know, I know right now it would be very hard just to envision my life without her. We have all these movies now and stories. We got, you know, what's his name, the Sparks guy, he makes The Notebook, and we have so many movies out there about love, and I think everybody wants it. And I know there is no perfect love story. There's no perfect love story. But I do believe love is perfect. And I just know that I love that girl.
Caleb, as you're watching today, I just want you to know that I love you. I cherish you. You are so much more than just a fiance and soon-to-be husband. You really are a man worth just loving, a man worth laying down my own life for. And I'm truly honored to be yours, to be your girl, and to just have you in my life, and to love you and be loved by you. Just thank you. Thank you for who you are. I love you.